So I want to represent. I just want to let Mr. Payten know that I was out there in Cleveland. His organization, look, he's smiling now. I just want to let you know that your organization gave me this, sir. So I was out there, so I had to wear it to represent, say thank you for the last 3 weeks. Folks, this is the first time I ever wore a jersey. This is the first time. Matter of fact, it's the only jersey I ever have. I'm not a jersey person, but I got one now. So I'm wearing it. So I just wanted to just let Mr. Payten know how much we appreciate him for the last few months and the last 3 weeks on our call that's blessing us. And with that, I'm going to go right into our guest speaker, folks. He is an amazing man. He's a man of God. He's got amazing family. His wife is supportive of him. And I love his story when he tells when he first got going, how she went to there and he told the story about how they all, about 12 of them got fit into one room with the kids because they couldn't afford it. And neither could the people that he had go. But now look at him. He's on the charts, all over the charts, every time you look at it. And without further ado, Regional Vice President, Platinum, I got to say it again, Platinum, my dear friend from Cleveland, now he lives in Dallas. Hey, listen, I'm still with you. The one and only Mr. Steve Payten II.
Man, I wish you would have told me you were wearing a jersey. I would have put one on. I feel like running to go put one on right now. But it looks good on you. It looks great with your skin. I'm serious. Brown is your color. That's the best. That's the best shirt that you've ever worn on one of your leadership calls. But you look great. Such a great person. Again, as I've stated every single week, I believe that the key to the business is being coachable and not taking for granted what you have right in front of you. Even the Bible says a prophet is without honor in their own home. And I'll tell you, I do leadership events, I do regional events. And the reason I do them is leverage. I'll get like a SVP or RVP to come and do the event because I know that even though we don't have to talk or anything, we have the same mindset. And I know that my team they're not gonna listen to me, but they'll listen to somebody else. So don't take it for granted. If you could just, take one thing that I'm saying today, that's very important that it go even a longer way. Do exactly what that man says, man. He is a tycoon in the entire industry. And I appreciate you, Mr. Thomas. So let's get right into it. I have my PBR. And I want you guys to see it. Here's the first video. Got the magazines going. Hopefully you guys can see that. And then here's my second video. And I'll tell you guys, I learned a lot. I learned a lot from my PBR. I'm gonna be honest with you. So I wanted to invite Mr. Tejada because I knew I didn't want to do it. So some of you, I know exactly how you feel, but I knew that I wasn't going to leave him hanging. So I started making the calls Thursday, and I made a list of everybody I knew in the area. And I called people on Thursday, and I even called people on my son's sports team. I called one person and I was like, hey, how you doing? I said, how's everything going with your son? And they was like, great. And then I said, okay. And then they was just like, because I had never had a conversation with them or never contacted them before. And then they were like, and then I said, okay, so what are you doing tomorrow at 7? That was it. I just kept it straight business. We're going right into it. And they was like, I have practice for my son. And I said, oh, okay. And they said, why? And I said, well, I was having an event about making money, but I'll get back in touch with you. So I was calling people. I called so many people that I called my great aunt. I called my great uncle, 70s and their 70s and 80s. I called everybody on my list, cousins, people I've never talked to on the phone. because I had to call everybody that was in Texas that I knew of. I called people that I messaged to get their number when I first moved here. And I called one person and he was like, "What's up?" He texted me. He said, "What's up?" I said, "I wanted to link up." "What's up?" He said, I said, I moved here to Texas." He said, "I thought you've been moved here." I did, 2 years ago. But I said, "What you doing tomorrow?" And he said he was busy, but I'm going to get him too. But I call everybody. So many people that Mr. Tejada was like, "How did you know this one person?" She was a business owner, real sharp. And he said, "How did you know this person?" I said, "She went to grade school with me." He was like, "What?" I was like, "Yes, elementary school." He was like, "Elementary school? Have you talked to her since then?" I was like, "No, we didn't even have a relationship then." He said, "So what made you contact her?" And I said, "She moved here in February and messaged me and said, 'Hey, I live there.' She saw one of my posts and said, I just moved here." And I said, "Great." I said, "What's your number? We'll link up one day." And this was the day. Whatever it's been, 6, 7, 8 months later, whatever it is, since February, I said to her, I said, on Friday, I called her the day of at 4:00. And I said, hey, how you doing?" She said, "Hey." I said, "So I got a question. What are you doing tonight at 7?" She was like, "Nothing really." I said, "Well, I want you to come over about making some money." She was like, "Come to your house?" I was like, "Yes." I said, "Tiffany will be there and we're going to discuss business." And she said, "Okay." She said, "Well, what is it? What is it about?" I said, "Well, you're free at 7. So I'll see you at 7. You'll get all the details. I got a couple other people to call." And I just, moved on. And she actually showed up. The system works. You just got to do the work. And I tell you, this is important because I was able to see, one, how uncomfortable I was. I'm still uncomfortable. I was uncomfortable. I was nervous because I knew that I would get a lot of rejection. I knew it. I knew I would get a lot of pushback because people know what I'm doing. I knew it. And it makes it uncomfortable, still uncomfortable. But I realized a couple of things while calling, that when you're comfortable, you can't get to the next level. So not only was this helpful for me and freeing for me, it was also freeing for the people I call and for my future downline that's going to occur out of this. Because I can tell them, like, look, I don't know anybody. I could tell them this whole story. It was very, very uncomfortable. I didn't want to do it. That's why I had to still call on Friday, because the Browns game was on Thursday, and I was like, I was gonna call during the game, and I was calling people, and they weren't answering. I said, man, I'm just gonna call the rest Friday, and I did. I called the rest Friday, and was able to get all the calls done by 5 o'clock. I called from 2 to 5, and one person ended up talking to me way too long, and I let it happen only because I only had a couple more people to call after that. But it's vital to do stuff that you're uncomfortable with doing. Like, God has to see that you're willing to do it in order to bless you. Like, you have to be willing to do what you don't feel like doing, what you don't like doing, what you're uncomfortable with doing. And I realized that that's the state of most of us on this call right now, not wanting to do things, wanting to talk about it instead of be about it, hoping that it's going to happen instead of making it happen, thinking it's going to happen instead of making it happen, talking about it happen instead of making it happen. And, are we exposing people? Are we calling everybody? I thought to myself, I'm about to call my aunt. And I said, should I call her? I know she's not going to do this. And then I said, I would tell somebody else to call. I called, and I called. I knew she wasn't going to want to come because I'm like an hour and a half away. And she said, I don't want to do any work. I don't want to do anything right now. And I was like, okay. And I was cool with it because I followed the system. I did exactly what I was supposed to do. I did it for my team, and it was great. So what I'll tell you is we have Elevate coming up. We got Elevate coming up. And this is the time where you shift your mindset, you shift your thinking. I'm excited. I'm fired up about it. You know, Mr. Thomas already talked about, you know, people to prepare and all of that stuff. You know, do whatever you feel is best between you and God. Just make sure that you pray about it and it's the right decision. But what I'm gonna tell you, I'm going to be there unless the flight gets canceled. I got American Airlines too. They did get all canceled today. But it's saying right now, I checked in, it's saying as of right now that it's a go for tomorrow. If it is, you know, everything will be smooth. And I'm excited. I'm excited, I'm fired up because I'm excited for leaders. I'm excited to learn and grow. I'm excited about Impact Health Share. I'm excited to take my business to the next level. And this is where most people make the mistake. They think, oh, when October gets here, I'm going to blow it up. When October gets here, I'm going to have presentations. I'm going to start doing Zooms when October gets here. And they never do, because it's the mindset. It's not about October. It's about who you are right now. If you're the same person going into October, then you're going to have the same results, fighting through it, pushing through it. That's why I didn't want to make an excuse. Well, Elevate is coming up. Well, I can wait till the first of the month. I could have made so many excuses. I have an event that I'm doing, a crusades that I'm doing in Cleveland. I could have made so many excuses. They came to my mind, but I said, I got to do this for my team. I got to lead by example, because if I don't do it, who's going to do it? And you guys are leaders. This is a leadership. If you don't do it, who's going to do it? If you don't lead by example, who's going to do it? You got to set the tone for your team. You're the leader. That's what I teach my team. You're the leader. You're the CEO of your business. You're the CEO. So I always say, if you're the CEO and you hire yourself. So I'm the CEO of Impact International, and I hire Steve Payten. And the work that Steve Payten puts in, should I keep him as my regional director? Should I keep him as my regional coordinator? Should I keep him as my regional vice president of Impact International? That's the type of mindset that you have to have. And that's the type of mindset that I have. If you don't set the tone, what are you going to tell your team when they join? You want to just get a rep? Anybody can get a rep. You get a rep, anybody can get a customer. You get a customer, then what happens? It's time for them to have a meeting. And when it's time for them to have a meeting, why don't they have success when they have a meeting? Why do you have to go get another rep again? Because you didn't set the tone. So when you're talking to them, your belief isn't even there. You're not excited. You're not fired up. So they don't believe. So they can't follow you when their belief isn't there. But your belief is there when you follow the system. When you bust through and you could tell them, listen, I know how it is. I know exactly what you're going through right now. Listen, this is what I did. And you're able to tell them and lead by example. You're able to show them the pictures, show them the video, tell them what you do, tell them what you do every single week. And then you could even have somebody else on the call that can vouch for it. When you're able to do that, that's when you can duplicate a system. That's the key. Anybody can get a rep, but you got to be duplicatable, okay? But what you do today is what matters. Don't think about then. Do it today. Plan for today. Have a Zoom now. Have it now. Have a presentation. If you get down to Florida Thursday, do it there. Do a Zoom there. Be aggressive. Just it's a blessing in organized chaos. You don't know what's going to happen, but it pushes you to be resourceful. And being resourceful is what leaders are. So you got to push yourself. You got to push yourself to do what you are uncomfortable with doing. And that's what's going to get you there. And that's what's on my heart, guys, because I know the state of the company. I know the state of everyone on this call because I was there. But I'm going to lead by example. I am going to have new leaders. And when I do, that's what I'm going to do on my next call with this. I'm going to say, hey, Mr. Thomas, whenever you're ready, I'm ready. Because I'm going to have a new Nicole Woods, a new Greg Borden Jr., a new Antonio Churn, another leader, a RVP that's going to turn up because I put in the work. But what are you going to do? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? When are you going to step up and be the leader that your team needs, the leader that you need for your organization. Because that's all you need is you. That's all it starts with is you. That's all you need. You don't need nobody else except you. You need other people, but the people that come, they come from you stepping up as the leader. You become the leader that you are looking for on your team. Think about it. What are you looking for? What do you want on your team? How do you want them to show up? Do you want them to be bashful? Do you want them to be scared? Do you want them to be talking? Do you want them to just get on calls? Or do you want them to expose everybody to the business? Do you want them talking to every single person that they see? Do you want them confident? Do you want them excited? Do you want them working? Just think about it. What do you want them to do? That's what you have to do. That's what you have to be. And then guess what? I promise you, you will attract who you are. That's it. That's all I'm doing. I'm looking for myself. That's it. I'm looking for myself. Do they show up like me? Do they act like me? Do they smell like me? Do they look like me? Do they want it like me? Do they have desire like me? Oh, this person reminds me of me. That's a red flag. When they remind me of, when they are coachable and they are teachable and they do whatever I say, I'm like, okay, is this the one? And then when they make a list of 100 to thousands of names, I'm like, okay, this is something good again. Then when they get 20 people on the call, but not only that, what if the conversation that I'm having now is, and I'm teaching my team, have a conversation about having a personal presentation. So I like to see, like, are they willing to do this? Are they willing to have a personal presentation? Because I had a conversation, look, you can have a Zoom, but this is the numbers of the personal presentation, okay? Mr. Brian Sachs, above my SVP said, for every 5 Zooms is equal to 1 PBR, 1 home presentation. And I had 3 people at my event. I have 3 reps for the week, and I'm still #1 on my team. The #1 RC, the #1 RD, and the #1 RVP. For the first time, you know, these last 2 months, it's the first time that I've done this since 2020, since the pandemic and the Zoom first started. And it's because I'm in phase 1, I'm locked in and ready to go, ready to lead by example and ready to get new people. So with that being said, I wanted to leave a couple of minutes. I wanted to get done at 11:25 to just open it up. It's my last day for a while. I'm in phase 1. It's the best time to get information is when someone is in phase 1. When a COC member or ex-COC member, an influencer is in phase 1. That's the best time to get information because it's real-time information. And we're not always in phase 1. We do a great job of looking like we're in phase 1, but we're not always in phase 1 because we are blessed with the residual, you know, especially when you get to platinum and up. You know, the math on there is 10 grand plus. You know, my first platinum check was 10 grand. I actually showed Mr. Al Thomas and his rep in Africa my 12 grand residual. And I had only been in the business for a couple of years. And he was like, I can't believe your residual is this big. He's like, can I show it to my rep? And he showed it to his rep, you know, right there, everything. I was like, I was showing it to her because I couldn't believe it either. I'm like, this is crazy that my residual is this big. But I work really, really hard in phase 1. So that residual sometimes makes you chill. You work hard so you can relax, so you can go to the Browns games, so you can go to all of your kids' games, so you can go to the Cavaliers games and the Guardians games, and so you can do different, so you can do ministry, so you can do different things. So, but when it's time to blitz, it's time to blitz. And right now it's time to blitz. It's time to 90-day blitz. It's time to be in phase 1. So with that being said, just continue to grow, continue to lead by example, like I said, and I will see you guys in Fort Lauderdale. I'll see you guys at the Elevate event. I'm excited. I'm excited for you guys. I can't wait to somebody says to me, I appreciate you. I was on one of those leadership calls and I changed my life. I turned up and, you know, my production skyrocketed and soared. that's what I look forward to and I'm excited about. So I appreciate you, Mr. Thomas, for having me.
Sir, don't go nowhere. Don't go nowhere. I want to highlight a couple things, everybody. He said he called his cousins, his uncle, his aunts. They were in their 70s and 80s. He called everyone. He called what? Everyone. He said he called what? Everyone. He didn't select. No, this one. He didn't prejudge. Look at the word prejudice. Life and happiness. Prejudge. He didn't prejudge anybody. Even though his aunt says she didn't want to do, he still called her. Why? He got out of his comfort zone. He's trying to get some of you out of your comfort zone. He said the system works, just have to work the system. You know? And he said, you can't get to the next level being comfortable. Wow. Ain't that the truth? And he wanted more. He says it's important to do what you don't want to do. So many of you are still so comfortable. He said, quit hoping it's going to happen. You just got to make it happen. You just got to make it happen. It just ain't going to happen. You got to make it happen. He also said, the event, I'm excited about learning and growing at the international event. He's going because why? We all go for what? To profit. Here again, always have an agenda. His agenda is to learn and to grow. Wow. He says he's looking for people like himself, want to learn like me, who is coachable like me, who want to do PBRs like me, who want to get qualified like me, who think like me. Are you looking for those kind of people?